Hey guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guy. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, I've got a review here of this Faber Castell Graphite set, which I'll get into in just a second. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of apologise for the lack of content that I've had out, especially over this summer. I said in the last video, I have a lot of things going on, things that have just got out of control of me, and there's nothing really I can do about it. And so once I get this all sorted out and get things back to normal, hopefully then content will become a lot more frequent. But at the minute, I can just do it whenever I can get the chance to do it. So I apologise for that. So if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you will have noticed that over the past, I think it was like last week or something, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I put up an image of a drawing that I did using this Faber Castell graphite set. So that's kind of like how long I've been using this set. I got this set quite a while back. I seen it on Amazon and it was really, really good price, considering that it's a Faber Castell product. And so I thought to myself, okay, I'll get it, I'll review it, I'll let people know what I think of it, and especially what I think of the value of it, for the cost per what you get. So let's have a look at the set. We'll take a look at what's inside this set, what you get for your money, things like prices and what have you. I will have over on my written review. You can go across because I can change all the prices as and when they change on Amazon on the written review. But when I start talking about prices here on the video, that's it. It's kind of like cemented. I can't change it. So unless you're new to art, unless you're new to colored pencils and what have you, you're not really, everybody knows about Faber Castell. But for those of you that are new, and I know I've got a few new subscribers recently, so welcome to the channel and welcome to the art world. But Faber Castell is a big name in art products, in particular pencils, and their 9000 range of graphite pencils are a really great range of graphite pencils. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, a graphite pencil is a graphite pencil. What's the difference between them all? There are differences, believe me. I've tested and demonstrated quite a few sets of graphite pencils from different companies, and there is a difference. There really, really is. So let's open this set, have a look at what's inside it, and then I'll show you some swatches that I've done, along with some artwork that I did using these pencils, and we'll just take it from there. As you can see here, like I said, it's a 26 set, so 26 items inside the set. It comes in a really nice tin. Anything Faber Castell is going to be nice, good product, or good quality. So you have that. On the back, there's just a little bit written about what's in the set, in different languages and what have you. So, but I'm going to show you those in any case. So on opening the set, there's a few little pamphlets in here, which you always get in these bigger sets, just showing you, explaining a little bit about the products that are inside the set, and plus obviously other sets that Faber Castell do. It's worth your while. I know it might seem a little bit boring, but especially this little thing here, this little pamphlet here, which explains what the products are inside this. I find it really interesting. Maybe it's just because I'm always reviewing, testing and things like that products. I find things like this really interesting because they let you know where the graphite's from, or the charcoal, or things like that, and what other ingredients they may have put into it. So it can be really interesting, but it's there if that's something that you're interested in. And then this one here is just showing you a little bit more about different products that Faber Castell do. So let's just set those to the side. So I'll have some images coming up on the screen here because the set as it is has been used. So as you can see, this is an overall view of the products inside this set. and I'm just going to briefly run through the products that are in the set from left to right, and then from there we'll show you these different products in action. So we have 3 Faber Castell water soluble graphite pencils, a 2B, a 4B, and an 8B. You also have in this set a number 6 round Faber Castell brush, watercolor brush. This is actually a really nice brush to use. Often when you get sets that have water soluble products inside them and they give you like a brush, the brush is next to useless, but this is a really beautiful little brush to use. So next we have just some ordinary graphite pencils from the Faber Castell 9000 range. So we got a 2H, an HB, a B, 2B, 4B, 6B, and an 8B. And in my opinion, that's a perfect range actually of graphite tones, if you like. I think anything lower than 2H, you're really playing about with clay after 2H. You don't really need to go lighter than 2H. I know you can get pencils as far down that scale as 9H, but they're really difficult to use. They're a nightmare to sharpen, regardless of the brand, because the core of the pencil is so brittle. It's like I say, it's more clay than it is graphite. And if you just use a light hand on a 2H pencil, you're golden. You're going to get the tones that you need. Then, like I say, the darkest is the 8B, and again, that's a good tone to have in terms of darkness. So I think all in all, you've got a really nice range there of graphite tones in the 9000 range pencils. Next, then we have 3 of the Faber Castell Jumbo 9000 graphite range pencils, and they go from 2B, 4B, and 8B. And don't worry, over on the written review where I have a lot of different images and what have you, I will have all the core sizes over there. So if you want to know what size core all of these pencils are, they'll be over on the written review that you can click on and take a closer look at. I'll put some of them up here as well as I'm talking. Next to the Jumbo graphite pencils, we then have some Pitt Graphite Pure 2900 pencils. Now these are woodless pencils. These are woodless graphite pencils. And again, we have a 3B, a 6B, and this one goes down to as dark as a 9B. So these are the 3 woodless graphite or Pitt Graphite pencils. Then we've got a kneaded eraser, Faber Castell kneaded eraser. In my opinion, these Faber Castell kneaded erasers are the best kneaded erasers you can get. Down here is the gem in this, and that is the graphite sticks. And again, they range from 2B, 6B, and 8B. So these are just pure graphite sticks. They just look like big pencils, as you can see, but they are tremendous. You can use them all kinds of way, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Next here, we've got a Faber Castell blending stump, which is perfect for a set like this. You're going to need it. We've got a 2-hole metal eraser, which is going to be able to sharpen the ordinary size pencils and the jumbo pencils because it's got the 2 holes in it. We then have this Faber Castell Art Eraser Dust Free. This is like a dark green eraser. I did a review of erasers not that long ago, and this one was in the selection that I did. It's a really good eraser. Works very, very well, and it's even if you didn't get this set, it's a really good eraser to have in your kit. Next here we have this sanding block, which is, it's not essential, but it's really important to have something like this around, especially when you've got this kind of mixture of graphite or charcoal or things like that, because you can use the sanding block to sand off graphite or charcoal or whatever onto your paper, and then get like a brush to, you know, mix it all around, and it's going to help you fill in bigger areas faster. And then finally we have here the Faber Castell pencil eraser. Now Faber Castell do a few pencil erasers, but this one is I love this one. Sometimes you get pencil erasers that just don't work, and sometimes you get them and they make such a mess, and then other times you'll get a really good pencil eraser that has it picks out just the right amount of graphite without just moving it around kind of thing and making a smudgy mess. And also as well, the actual eraser part inside the pencil is nice and firm, so it's, if you need to lift out a little bit of detail, like say cat whiskers or something like that, this is going to be perfect for you, because it's got that strength within the actual eraser tip to not bend and flex all over the place when you're trying to get those details out. But it's a really good eraser, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. So that's all 26 items. So obviously, as you can see, when they're saying this is like a 26 kit, they're talking about the eraser, the sharpener, the stump, everything. But all in all, I've got to tell you guys, the artwork that I did using this set, I really enjoyed the process of being able to switch between different graphite ranges, different graphite types, and when I was filling in larger areas or what have you, just rubbing them on the sanding block and making lots of dust and stuff like that on the paper, just to rub it in with either the blender or a brush. But we'll get into that in a second. As you can see here, when I get a set and I'm going to review it and demonstrate it, and obviously do artwork with it as well, I always do a swatch. Gives me a really good idea of what values I'm going to get from it, how it's going to look and what have you, all those types of things. So as you can see here on the left hand side, and I've followed the track all the way across here, so you can see this is the 2B, the 4B and the 8B water soluble graphites, and you can see there that there's a really good tone change. Sometimes you can get these water soluble graphite pencils and the 2B will just be like the 9B. There's not a lot of difference in them, but you can see here clearly there's a clear distinction in tonal value. Then with the ordinary 9000 range of the Faber Castell pencils, from the 2H all the way up to the 8B, again a really nice gradation of tonal value, and a really nice laydown. Now the paper I used for this as well was just some Strathmore 300 series Bristol vellum, so it's a relatively smooth paper. Next here we have the jumbo graphite, so the 2B, 4B and 8B. Again, at the end of the day, they're just the same as the 9000 range graphite pencils, but obviously because they've got a much bigger core, if you're doing like a background area or you've got a large area that you need to fill in, the thicker, bigger core is going to help you be able to achieve that faster. Then here we have the Pitt Graphite Pure 2900. That's the woodless graphite. So we've got the 3B, the 6B and the 9B. And then we have the Pitt Graphite, which is the 3 graphite sticks. So we've got the 2B, the 6B and the 8B. Now the lines that you can see through all of these are from using the pencil eraser that's in the set there. So that'll give you a good indication of how the pencil eraser works. But like I say, I'm going to show you that in just a second. Before we get into showing you the actual artwork that I did with the set, I'm just going to show you in real time some of the things that you can do with the set. And I know for some of you, some of these tips and techniques are going to look or feel like I'm, you know, teaching you to suck eggs, and I don't mean to be. But I'm going to show you the three water-soluble graphite pencils here, because you can really have a lot of fun with these. And as you can see here on the side, I've got my old Caran d'Ache palette here, which I use for if I'm using any water-soluble product like pencil, crayon, graphite, anything like that. I always have this. It's a bit stained, but I use it a lot, so it's not important that it's stained. So I'm just going to show you first of all. You can just lay this down as you would do an ordinary pencil. So this is the 2B, 4B, and this is all you would do. You would just fill in your area with the pencil, and then this one here is the 8B. And then all you would do is you would get your watercolor brush. Obviously, Faber Castell have got a really, really nice one there for you to use. And you can see there, as soon as you activate it, you're given a lot of graphite to play about with and do what you want with. Just clean that off. So that's the 2B. This is the 4B. You can see there quite a significant difference in tonal value. And then finally here we've got the 8B, and you can see again huge difference in tonal value. Now another way that you can use this, and this is the same for all water soluble products, if you wanted to, if you just had a smaller area that you wanted to get to, you wanted to use the water soluble, you can just take it right off the tip here of the pencil, and then just fill in the area. It gives you a little bit more control. You can be a little bit more accurate like that whenever you're filling in your areas. Now, a lot of people ask me, whenever you're using water-soluble graphite, when it dries, can you erase it? Well, I'm going to show you what happens when you try to erase it once it's dry in just a second. I've got to obviously let it dry first of all. Now, the other way you can use this is, of course, by using this excellent little palette here from Caran d'Ache. So you just scribble your water-soluble product here dry. And this is what I love about this actual product here. If you've got a couple of colours, say, and you want to mix them and see what they look like mixed, rather than messing about on your watercolour paper, you just do it here on the palette. Put your 3 colours down, apply them dry, and then mix them with the paintbrush. It's such a invaluable product, this, for anybody that has water-soluble products. But there you can see there, I've added some of the graphite there to the palette. You just mix it around, and you can see sometimes when you apply the pencil to the paper and then activate it with the water, you can see that it looks a little bit patchy. I find when you use this method, when you use the palette and you lift it, I find it's more like using panned watercolor. It gives you kind of like a little bit more control, and it allows you to create a much smoother application. There you go. So you can see there that the various different methods in how you can use the water-soluble graphite that's inside this set. A lot of fun. And like I say, for water-soluble graphite backgrounds, when I think of water-soluble graphite, I automatically think of backgrounds, because they're larger areas, and it gets the job done fast. And also as well, really good quality water-soluble graphite, like the Faber Castell products, give you a really nice dark rich tone, and obviously then you can keep layering on top. So just they're not quite dry yet. So let's then take a look at the jumbo Faber Castell pencils. Like I say, that in this particular set you get a 2B, 4B and 8B. Obviously the larger core gives you the ability to fill in areas faster, but that, you don't have to just use it for that, because you can sharpen these things into still quite a fine point, and so you can still get a lot of accuracy with them. So I'm using the 2B here, and if you just lay it flat on its side like you would do an ordinary graphite pencil, you can fill in quite a large area quite fast. You can see there the quality of the graphite is so smooth. Using the tip of the graphite pencil, you see you can still get all the detail that you need. It's just the jumbo pencils give you the best of both worlds, really. Detail and the larger areas. The same is true for the woodless graphite pencils. Now there's kind of like a thin plastic sheath on this that you can take off, and then that's just going to leave you the complete woodless graphite pencil. At which point, if you really wanted to, you could set it completely on its side and rub it into the paper like that. Or again, if you just using the tips, you can get some interesting patterns and shapes from the woodless graphite. But the other thing about the woodless graphite is, you can do this with the pencils as well, but with the woodless graphite, it's almost just like that they're made for this type of thing. Just scratching it along the wood, the sanding block that you are given with it, and then with like if your daughter leaves her room for long enough and you go in and steal one of her makeup brushes, you could do that, or get a different brush. But you can see there that this allows you to fill in areas very, very smoothly. Like if you're doing gradation transitions and things like that, you can, with a brush like this, you can work the graphite very, very gently into the paper to give you such a really delicate feel to the artwork that you're doing, as you can see here. And then obviously you would just keep layering on top just to get your darker values. That one there that I used was the 3B from the Pitt Graphite Pure. And then you've got these big chunky graphite sticks. These are the Pitt Graphite, and this one here is the 9B. So these are just so much fun to use. So if you really wanted to, you could set this on its side and just rub the whole thing in. And then with your brush, just move it all around and smooth it out. But like I say, this is the 8B one. You can still use it just like an ordinary pencil. Rub it into the paper. You're going to get really nice dark values from this. And in the artwork I'm going to show you, I used all of these at some point, just so that I was able to say, yeah, you know, I used that and it worked out well, or it didn't work out well, or whatever. For me personally, I prefer using blending stumps as opposed to brushes. Each to their own. And the thing I like about using the blending stump, you end up with they pull in a lot of the graphite on them, and so you can actually use a blending stump to gently draw bits. You know, if you're doing a human face or something like that, and you just need the slightest little tone somewhere on the forehead or something like that, or on the ear, the graphite that's left on your blending stump would be sufficient for it. But you can see there, you can have so much fun with all the different products that I've just shown you there in that 26 set. With these as well, you know, the sanding block is important. Just scratch on. There we go. So that's all the products that are in there, all the graphite products. So let me just go through some of the erasers that are in here as well. It's almost dry. So this kneaded eraser here that I'm using is a Faber Castell one. It's not the one that's actually in the set, but these kneaded erasers, I can remember when I first started getting into art, and I can remember seeing a kneaded eraser in an art store, wondering what the heck it was, and why on earth would somebody use something like that to rub out a mistake or something. It wasn't until obviously I got a little bit further in that I fully understood and realized the value of these. Whenever you're working with graphite or charcoal, these are not for making, you know, erasing mistakes, although you can use it for that, but these are for drawing with, really. So you can see here with your kneaded eraser, you can shape it into any shape you want. You can flatten it, get a thin blade type thing with it, and just pick out a thin line like that, very, very gently. If you shape it into like a little point, you could use it for if you were doing, I don't know, say like a face, and it was a man's face and there's a lot of, like, he's got a beard or stubble or something like that. If you use your kneaded eraser just to lift out the slightest little bit from the follicles, the hair follicles that would come out of a man's face for his beard, and then obviously use your pencils to get the actual hairs coming out of these, it just helps to add depth. But they're so delicate, they can really aid you in your pencil work. Or alternatively, just turn it into a nub, and you can lift out quite a bit of graphite. It's one of the really good things about the kneaded erasers, or one of the more important things about them, is if you're trying to lift out graphite, it's best to kind of like just dab it on and lift it out like that, as opposed to rubbing, because when you start rubbing, you are damaging the tooth of the paper. And even if you're using something like a Bristol Smooth or a Bristol Vellum, although they are smooth papers, there kind of is still a texture on there, and you want to maintain that texture for as long as you can until you're getting towards the end of your project. So using something like this is very beneficial. Next up is this pencil eraser. Now, I've used a lot of pencil erasers. I have my favourite pencil eraser, which I've spoke about on the eraser list that I did. But this one here, I had not used this one whenever I completed that eraser list. Only when I got this set had I encountered this one. It's a little bit harder than the normal pencil eraser that I use, but it allows you to, by the way, if you're using a pencil eraser and it gets all dirty like that, just use a putty eraser to lift off the graphite and it just cleans up the tip of it. But let me zoom in a little bit there so you can see what I'm doing here with this. So with this pencil eraser here, you can see it lifts out the graphite really well, and because it's a little bit more, sturdy than some of the other pencil erasers I've used, where they will like flop and move about, this is a little bit sturdier. So it is like using a pencil, only you're taking out the graphite. Even just dabbing it in, you can see there just how much graphite it lifts out. Then we have the actual Faber Castell Art Eraser Dust Free. Now, I spoke about this in that other review I did, but this eraser is outstanding. Really, really, really good eraser. You can see there just how well it lifts out the graphite. Really good really good eraser. So even if you don't get this kit, there's certain things inside this kit that you may want to get as an individual product. This eraser, the kneaded eraser and the pencil eraser are three such products. And I know they're all erasers but nevertheless they are really, really good. And so finally, sorry I forgot, a lot of people ask me, whenever you are using water-soluble graphite, can you erase them once they've dried? Well, this will show you the answer to that now. So there you go. No is the answer. It's a much more permanent way of applying your graphite. And again, that's why water-soluble graphite is such a good way to applying your backgrounds. So that's all of the products we've taken a look at. Let's just show you the actual artwork. So this is the artwork that I did using that set, the Faber Castell set, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. I've done a drawing like this, something similar to this, but this one here is a little bit more detailed, a little bit more close up, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. So that's my review for this Faber Castell 26 Pitt Graphite set. Excellent value for money. I can't stress that enough, how good value for money this is. But all the prices will be over on the written review, so go across there, take a look and let me know what you think. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing all your comments and seeing what you all think of the artwork. Thanks very much guys. Bye.